Hi there all you wonderful people, welcome back to this channel we call 67 Hail Hail. Now, this is a Monday video, today is Monday. We're a wee bit late with this usual roundup, may or may not be to do with the fact I had a few beers last night, but we're bringing you the video anyway. We're going to round up all the latest transfer news, other news with regards to Celtic, tidy up some things, and also chat a bit more about yesterday's game. In fact, I'm going to start with that. We did do the live match reaction after the win over Hearts yesterday. Me from just outside Celtic Park, although you wouldn't know looking at it, and John from his home somewhere on the east coast of Scotland. Now, I do need to quickly give a shout out to Jack from Cumbernauld. Now, Jack was apparently wanting to speak to the worldwide star that is Hamish Carton, but I was working. I was too busy doing said live reaction with John. My pal Lewis dealt with Jack, and Lewis said, give Jack a shout out. So I'm giving shout outs now to people I've not even met. This has to stop. No, but thanks very much, Jack, for coming to say hi, even though I didn't return the compliment at the time. At least I hope you enjoyed your day and watching Celtic yesterday. I certainly did at the game. In fact, I enjoyed watching Celtic's performance so much that when I came back from the pub last night, yes, I was out, by the way, I stuck the game on again. I watched the first half last night, second half when I woke up this morning. There was a few things that I noticed that I maybe hadn't noticed at the game. I'd kind of had it in my head that first half Celtic were absolutely sensational. That hasn't changed from rewatching the game. We were absolutely sensational. Second half, I had it in my head we were really sloppy and it was much more ponderous. To a certain extent that probably was true. However, having rewatched the second half this morning, we could still have scored 3 or 4 goals in that second half alone. I think in the first 5 minutes of the second half, we created 3 or 4 really good opportunities. There was one that Edward had from a Kyogo cross that was well saved by Gordon. There was one that drifted just wide. I think Tom Rogic was involved in that. We really peppered that Hearts goal in the first few minutes of that second half. And I think if we'd have got that third goal at that stage, it could have turned into a 4 or 5-0. The disappointing aspect, of course, was the fact we conceded 2 goals yesterday. And both of them were really sloppy. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that we need new reinforcements in the back. Of course we do, but I don't think that's a revelation. I think we knew that beforehand. Yesterday's 2 goals, I think, were really slack. And it was almost a result of things being too easy in the match. Now, the first goal is just a Starfelt mistake, and he seems to be prone to them a little bit. He got off really lightly against Jablonec in the second leg when he dived in the start of the second half. I felt that was a penalty. He had his mishap at Tynecastle in the first league game of the season, and obviously yesterday he had that really nervy 5-10 minutes where he kind of misplaced a few passes, gave away that penalty, and then right after, if you remember, had a crossfield pass that was intercepted by Liam Boyce, and if it wasn't for Joe Hart being alert, that could have been 2-2. So he really, really needs to tighten up. I still am quite impressed with him so far in general, but obviously if he's making a mistake a game, that just can't continue if he's going to play for Celtic. It's so important that we have concentrated members of the team, especially at the back when we're so dominant in games. We're going to have so much of the ball. It's important that players like Welsh, like Starfelt and like Joe Hart are really switched on, and sadly it seems like Starfelt does have lapses in concentration. Hopefully that is just because he's just new to Celtic and he's maybe not quite up to speed with a team who is so dominant in matches. Hopefully it's something he can learn. As I say, I'm not writing him off at all. The second goal yesterday was just a bit fortunate, to be honest. Yes, Starfelt again probably lost his man, but it was a completely irrelevant goal. Winning 3-1 or 3-2 doesn't matter at all. We went through and we know how Celtic played. The thing that leapt out to me both at the game and watching it afterwards as well is just how quickly Celtic play. Such a tempo. The minute the ball goes out, whether it's for a throw-in, for a goal kick or for a corner kick, as was the case yesterday with the second goal, we're always looking to do things quickly. It's obviously something the manager has told the players. If the opposition aren't ready don't give them the chance to set it up. It just seemed so often last season that we were ponderous, we were taking ages to do everything. This is a Celtic team that plays with a lot of purpose. They are an absolute joy to watch. The first half yesterday, I cannot speak highly enough of how good that performance was. We could have been 4 or 5-0 up in that first half. When you think of the 2 goals, the fact Edouard misses a really, really good chance after his goal. We had a number of really good opportunities as well. James Forrest had one. We could easily scored 4 or 5 goals in that first half alone. I just thought Celtic were brilliant, and it just gives me so much enthusiasm to ponder where we could be with a few new signings. Which, funnily enough, leads me on to the second part of this video, which is giving you a little bit of an update with regards to what players are going to be coming to Celtic and when those deals are likely to be finalised. Now, I don't know if I've even mentioned the name Liam Scales on the channel yet. I don't think I have, and that's probably quite an achievement given that I rattle out probably half a dozen names in every single one of these transfer videos. He is the Shamrock Rovers defender. He's a Republic of Ireland under-21 international. I believe he's 23 years old now. I think he's just turned 23. He's playing for Shamrock Rovers, and the chat is, according to the Irish Mirror, that it's a done deal to Celtic, that he will join us before the end of the transfer window. We're talking approximately £500,000 plus add-ons. Now, that's all well and good. He seems to have quite a decent reputation, but for me it's like a signing akin to a Leo Connor or a Luca Connell or a Jonathan Afolabi. Players who were also Ireland under-21 internationals. Liam Shaw and Asazi Urigidi are also 2 players that you could probably liken it to. Is this a guy who's going to come in and make an impact in the Celtic first team right away? Not totally convinced. I really hope Liam Scales proves me wrong if he does come to Celtic, but I'm just not totally convinced it's the kind of signing that Celtic fans are going to accept as the big centre-back signing. I still feel we need another centre-back to come in as well. Doesn't seem like it's going to be Cameron Carter-Vickers though. He seems set to rejoin Bournemouth, who he spent last season with on loan, although it seems to be a permanent deal this time. I believe they're talking £5 million. Right, shall we talk right backs? Remember those halcyon days when it was Aurelio Buta? He was the guy we were going to sign. Well, I've not heard that name in a long time, and by a long time I mean about 3 days, but it seems like he's not even been mentioned as a potential option for Celtic at right back anymore, and perhaps the longest saga ever with regards to a team signing a player in a much needed position. I don't know why I'm talking like that, but Jan Couto, Man City, right back, Brazilian under, I think, 17, 18, 19 international. And we've also got Josip Juranovic, who is the much older Legia Warsaw right back, Croatian international. They seem to be the 2 that we are going between to fill our right back issue. However, I say that, we got an update earlier today from Sky Sports saying that our move for Jan Couto has come to nothing. Now, he was a guest of Celtic at last week's Europa League clash at home to Jablonec, but it seems like he isn't quite convinced on coming to Celtic. And to be honest, if you're going to sample the atmosphere of however many it was, 52,000 Celtic fans making all that noise last Thursday night, seeing the team play that well and being part of that and not wanting to sign for the club, then to be honest, we're not going to be able to convince you. And Ange Postecoglou doesn't strike me as the kind of manager who will try and convince a guy who isn't totally sure what they want to do. So, barring any other changes, which we won't write off completely, it doesn't seem like Jan Couto is going to be signing for Celtic. It seems then like we're going to go for Josip Juranovic. Now, he was the guy that I spoke about to Croatian journalist Isaac Ante Susic the other day on the channel. Check out that video. I will link it above. And Isaac actually tweeted me earlier on. Well, he tweeted an update and he tagged me in it just because he's such a legend. The update from Isaac's point of view is that a deal for Juranovic is still on, but it's going to take more time. Now, I actually prefer the look of Juranovic. He's 26. He has the profile of most of the players we've signed this summer so far. We've kind of gone for players in that 25 to 28 age bracket. And if we were to bring in Juranovic, it would be quite a promising signing for Celtic, a Croatian international at right back. So hopefully this is one we can do. We're not talking large money either. I think Isaac said it was between 3 and 5 million euros. So it's not huge fees. I think Celtic just need to get it done at this stage. Striker is another one. There seems to be a growing feeling that Odsonne Edouard might just stick around for another season. I've given my thoughts on it before. I thought Edouard was much better yesterday, but there's still parts of his game that he needs to work on. He needs to be far more clinical. He needs to get back to the Edouard we knew before in front of goal. Yes, he got a brilliantly worked first goal yesterday, but that chance a couple of minutes later is one he would have scored in years gone by. So we need to get back to that Edouard, but if he was playing in general like he did yesterday, then I'm more than happy to have him around. Still get huge reservations about Griffiths and Ajeti. Ajeti just looks so off it and so shorn of confidence. If we were to get bad injuries to Edouard and Kyogo, I'd really be a bit worried about how this season's going to go, because we'd really lack a bit of, finishing prowess up top. We still need bodies badly, at least 4 for me. Liam Scales looks like he's going to be 1. Juranovic or any other right back on Planet Football, possibly number 2. Still think we need a left winger. Christian Lovric is the obvious option that's been mentioned, although I could see another loan happening. A left back as well, even if just to take the load off Greg Taylor, who I thought had a really good game against Hearts. I thought he was one of our better players, but he's playing every minute of every game at the moment, and we need another option in that area of the park. And as I say, an experienced centre-back. So I think you're looking at probably 4 or 5 players still to come in, as far as I'm concerned. Do I think Celtic will get 4 or 5 players in? No, I think we're probably going to be looking at 2 or 3 at this stage, given there's only a fortnight to go in the window. Now, UEFA deadline for the AZ Alkmaar tie. The first of the deadlines has already passed. James McCarthy's a big inclusion in that squad. He's taking the place of Leo Hjelde, who looks like he's going to Leeds United. We can, however, register 2 extra players in this wildcard window that UEFA do for all of their ties. You know how it works by now. It's 11 p.m. the day before the match. So 11 p.m. on Tuesday night, which is tomorrow night. If you're watching this on Monday, if you're watching this on Tuesday, it's 11 p.m. tonight. Celtic would need to get players signed. Now, I don't think we are going to sign a player and start them on Wednesday night. But if we want them to start in the second leg in Alkmaar next Thursday, we'll still need to have them signed by Tuesday at 11 p.m. So tomorrow could be a busy day for Celtic. Who knows? Monday evening could be a busy night for Celtic. So what is Ange saying? Because he's asked about transfers in pretty much every presser that he does at the moment. He told BBC Radio Scotland that he is, Neil Lennon air quotes upcoming, very, very confident of adding more players before the deadline. But that's not tomorrow's deadline. This is the transfer deadline he's talking about. So I would certainly hope, Ange, that we're going to get in more players by that stage, because we're going to be in a hell of a state if we don't. We haven't made any signings in 13 days. The business Celtic have done this summer has been really good. We've signed 5 first-team players. I think they'll all go on to be positive signings, but it's taken far too long. If we had signed Joe Hart and Kyogo, for example, 3 weeks earlier and had them in place for that Michelin tie, I think we would have won that tie. I don't think that's a huge leap from me to suggest that those 2 players alone would have made a material difference in that tie. And then obviously that would have at least banked us automatic Europa League group stage football. Who knows how much we could regret not getting the players in time for this Alkmaar tie if it doesn't go to plan. Celtic really need to back the manager now. He has shown in his early, whatever it's been, couple of months at the club that he knows what he's doing. And he can build us a team to be proud of. He just needs to be backed by the board. And if they do that in the final 2 weeks of this window, I think we're going to have a season to remember. So get ready to clip that up at the end of the season when we finish 4th. Now, subscribers, We're just over 18,000. Well, I think 18,250, something like that at the time of recording. Let's see how quickly we can get to 19,000. If you're watching this and you've not yet subscribed to 67 Hail Hail, well, subscribe to 67 Hail Hail. It would really be appreciated by all the team here. We have videos going out every day at the moment. Great variation on the channel, if I do say so myself. Live match reactions, Jackie McNamara, Scott McDonald, interviews, loads of other stuff. So subscribe to be part of the team. Thanks for watching this Monday video. Let us know if you have any thoughts in the comments below, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.